Right, okay, so let me see if we are live or not. Perfect. Okay. Hi, hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope that everybody is in the best of their health, and I welcome you all to the very amazing platform Unacademy. So students, we are here to ace our term to examinations with Unacademy Plus. Now, what is this Unacademy Plus and how is it going to help you to achieve better in your examinations? I will be telling you in a while, but let's before that know a bit about me. So, I am Ritika, chemistry educator on Unacademy. I have completed my engineering in electronics and communication and have been awarded competent leader by Toastmasters International. I've also been awarded grade A in Cambridge English, and right now I'm here teaching you all chemistry. So, talking about the topic that we are going to learn or study today, we are going to have a very important topic of our term 2 examinations, and that is metallurgy. Right, so as you know, the metallurgy is a very important topic, is a very crucial topic with respect to a term 2 examinations, right? So we are going to do that today, and in that we are basically going to focus on the extraction of metals, right? So let's quickly get started. Now, before that, students, I have a request. Kindly follow the channel Unacademy Champions on Telegram. The link of this channel, it is provided to you in the description box. Now, why to follow this channel? Because this is the place where you will be getting your daily updates. Okay, you will be getting all the session updates, all the plus classes, all the special classes that we are having on our sessions. Okay, so these are some of the important updates that you will be getting. Also, you will be getting the ongoing offers, okay, which are going on here at Unacademy. Okay, and then let's target 1,000 subscribers at YouTube. So students, for this I need your help. Just press on like button and subscribe to the channel. Also press on bell icon. And why? Because there are some of the amazing chapters, amazing sessions going on here. Okay, and you don't want to miss them. So please share, please like, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Now, let's talk about occurrence of metals. So if I talk about how are metals occurring in our on our earth. So earth, it is the biggest source of metal. The crust of the earth, it is the biggest source of metals. So we get a majority of metals from the earth's crust. Okay, now metals, they can occur in their free state or in the combined state. Now there are two basic methods or basic types in which metals can be found. First is the native or free state. Now what do we mean by native or free state? So this state, it is free from impurities, okay, or sulfides, carbonates, hydrides, etc. That is, we get them in the pure state. And in the combined state, what do we get? They are combined with, we are getting them in their sulfide form, in their carbonate form, in their hydride form, etc., etc. Then we have dust, we have some of the particles, okay, silica, etc. So there are various particles. Okay, so this is what are the types of the metals that can be found in the earth's crust. Okay, all right, then we have how to explain like which metal it will be occurring, or which will be occurring in what way. Okay, so that thing, it can be explained by the activity series. Right, now let's say what is the role of activity series in the extraction and in the occurrence of metals. All right, now if I talk about the metals, okay, so they are metals which are reactive. They are found in their combined form, right? So they can be found in their oxide form, in their carbonate form, halide form, sulfate or sulfides, etc., etc. So we are having these many forms, and again they are mixed with, we can have clay, we can have mud, we can have some of the stones. Okay, so this is the formation, or this is how we get the reactive metals. Okay, now if I go for sodium, if I go for potassium, you will be finding them generally in their chloride form. Okay, then we have calcium, magnesium, we will be finding them in their carbonate form. Aluminium, we find it in oxide form, etc. Okay, now that is how we will be finding different type of metals. And how are we finding it? It depends upon their reactivity. How reactive are they? How do they react in presence of oxygen, in presence of carbon dioxide, water, etc., etc. Now let's talk about minerals and ores. So our earth, it's having abundant of minerals, right? So we are having abundant of minerals over here. So what actually are minerals, or how to define minerals? These are naturally occurring compounds of metals which are mixed with soil, sand, limestone, rocks, etc. So these soil, sand, limestone, these are all the impurities which are present in the minerals, and they are collectively known as gangue or matrix, right? So the impurities which are present in the minerals are referred to as gangue or matrix. Now what is ore? So students, that there are many minerals which are present on the earth. Okay, but from every type of mineral we cannot take out the metals conveniently. So what are ores? Ores are those type of minerals from which we can extract the metals under two conditions. So here first condition is, we do not have to spend very much, that is lower cost, and we do not have to put in so much of hard work, that is minimum effort. Okay, and we are also getting a good quantity. Okay, so ores are those minerals from which we can extract the metals at a lower cost and minimum effort. So here these become important: lower cost and minimum effort. Hope that is clear. All right, now with this we can say all of the minerals are not ores, but all ores are minerals. So this is a very important statement, that all ores are minerals. Why? Because ores are those minerals from which we are able to extract the metals conveniently, right? But every mineral present in the earth's crust, it is not ore. Why? Because from every mineral we cannot extract the metals at, let's say, low cost or low labor or conveniently, right? Okay, now let's talk about some of the ores. Okay, now hi, good afternoon dear. Hello, good afternoon. So we are studying about metallurgy, and right now we are discussing about some of the common ores. So if I go for main ore of aluminium, so we have already done extraction of aluminium, and in that we took what? We took bauxite. So the main ore of aluminium, it is bauxite, and from this bauxite we extract aluminium. The formula is Al2O3.2H2. Okay, then iron. For iron we are mainly using hematite. Okay, so the formula is Fe2O3. And if I talk about zinc, so zinc, it is mainly extracted from its ore, which is zinc blende. The formula is ZnS. Okay, so these are the principal ores from which these metals are extracted. All right, hope things are clear up till here. Okay, now let's move on to our next topic, that is metallurgy and the steps which are involved in the extraction of metals. Now, first of all, what is metallurgy all about? If I talk about the metals that we have, ready for use, for example, iron, for example, gold, for example, silver, copper, aluminium, etc. Now, these are not occurring in their, normal states. Okay, they are mixed with many impurities. Okay, and for using them, it is not possible for us to just take them and just, they are not ready for use. So these metals, or to be very precise, these ores, they need to go under a particular process so that we can extract the metal from them. Okay, extracting the metal means removing all the impurities, okay, and having the pure metal in our hand. Okay, so as I already told you, the metals, they are not really found in their purest pure form, and these metals or these ores need to go through a kind of definite or a particular process to remove all the impurities and to be in the pure form. So this process, this whole process, it comes under the branch which is known as metallurgy. So how to define metallurgy? It is the process which is used for extraction of metals in their pure form from their ores. Okay, so metallurgy is the process to extract the metals in their pure form from their ores. Hope that is clear. Now, talking about the processes, but before that, I have a very important information for all of you. So, students of ICSE board grade 9 to 12, I'm sorry, it's a very important and very amazing offer for all of you. Okay, students, if you are taking the plus subscription of 12 a month and above till 31st January, you will be getting the extra 3-month K-12 subscription absolutely free of cost. Okay, so this is a very amazing opportunity. You're just getting 1/4 time very free of cost, right? So if you're going to take plus subscription for 12 months and above, you're going to get the 3-month K-12 subscription for free of cost. Okay, but this offer is first of all valid only for first 500 subscribers, and also this offer, it is going to end on 31st of January. Okay, so there's a request to please hurry up and please share this information with all of your friends so that every student can take the advantage of this amazing offer. Okay, and also you can get a flat 10% discount when you are purchasing plus subscription for any duration, and for that you need to use my code, which is RITIKACLIVE. Now this is my code which you can use to avail a 10% discount if you are taking plus subscription for any duration. Okay, now talking about the stages which are involved in extraction of metals. So as you know, there are various processes which needs to be followed to have the pure metal in our hand. Okay, so there are several physical and chemical methods that we are using. Okay, now which method are we using? Okay, the extraction method of any particular metal, it depends on what is the nature and what are the properties of that metal. Okay, so this is how we do select the type of process that we are going to use. And now talking about the various steps that are involved. So right at the very starting, we have ore in our hand, right? Okay, after having the ore, first of all it goes under crushing and grinding process. Now we will be seeing about all of this process one by one. So first of all, it is crushing and grinding. After crushing and grinding, it goes for concentration. Now in the concentration, we are having different types. Okay, so first we have gravity separation, then it is froth flotation, After that, it goes for magnetic separation, and then we have leaching, or what we also call as chemical method. Okay, now these are the 4 processes, and we take the process according to the type of material that we are having. So this concentration, it has got 4 processes. After concentration, it goes for roasting or calcination. After that, it goes for reduction, wherein again we are having basic 2 type of methods. Now first is the chemical reduction, and the second one is electrolytic reduction. Okay, after that the metal, it goes for refining, and at the last we have pure metal in our hand. Okay, so these are the various processes that any ore undergoes through. First is the ore, it goes for crushing and grinding, then it goes for concentration, we have roasting and calcination, reduction and refining. Okay, after refining we have pure metal in our hand. Okay, so this is how the process is happening. Okay, now let's study about each process one by one. Now first of all, crushing and grinding. Okay, so what is happening over here? See, we have ore in our hand. Okay, now we cannot extract the metal from that particular ore, okay, if it is not broken down. So what are we doing? We are crushing into fine powder, okay, in big jaw crushers. So we are having definite particular type of machines for that, that is jaw crushers, and we convert the ore into fine powder, and this process, it is known as pulverization. So there can be question like define pulverization, or what is meant by pulverization. So it is crushing the ore into fine powder to get the basic very fine powder, okay, in the big jaw crushers or ball millers. Okay, next this next step that the ore undergoes is the dressing or concentration of ore. Now as I told you that there are various processes. Now first let's talk about what is meant by dressing or concentration. Now here what is done, the gangue or some of the impurities that we have, okay, are removed over here. Okay, right? So all the impurities, all the gangue materials that we are having. Now what are the impurities that we can have? We can have rocky impurities, okay, and these are removed under this process of concentration of ore. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now how do we remove it? First of all, what are the processes that any ore undergoes to remove the gangue and remove the all impurities? Now let's see the different processes that we have. Okay, now first is the hydraulic washing or gravity separation method. Okay, now first of all we have in our hand the concentrated ore. What is concentrated ore? When we have removed the impurities and gangue. Okay, so after that we have concentrated ore. Okay, so after removing all the impurities, we will be having concentrated ore in our hand. Now let us see how is this happening. First is gravity separation. Now this method, it is also known as levitation. Alright, let's see what happens in this method. We are taking a sloping table, okay, a table having grooves, and it is a kind of sloping table. Now this is how the table is. It is having grooves and it is a bit sloped, okay, and here we are having a container. Okay, all right, and here we have a shower. Okay, so okay, this is a basic kind of what do we say, setup. Okay, now what happens over here is we are pouring the ore. Okay, so the ore is poured over here. Okay, and then we let the water to spray over here. Okay, so we let jet of water. Now what is the thing, or what are the process that are happening over here? First, since okay, so 1 minute, yeah. So if I talk about jet of water, it is flowing over here, right? So what is happening over here? The ore particles, they are heavy, right? They are dense. So what happens? They are collected here in the grooves, correct? And what is happening to the impurities? They are just coming here and they are falling here and they are collected. So here we are having gangue particles plus water. Okay, and these ore particles which we have over here in the grooves, they are collected. So this method, it is known as gravity separation or levitation technique, correct? Next we have magnetic separation. Okay, now in the magnetic separation, what happens is, one of the thing, it should be magnetic, that is it should be attracted by a magnet. So what happened? We are having first of all crushed ore. Okay, so we place it over a conveyor belt. Okay, and this conveyor belt, it is rotating around two metal wheels. Okay, now one wheel, it is magnetic. Okay, so what happens? The magnetic particles, okay, which are present, they get attracted to magnetic wheel. Yeah, okay, and all the non-magnetic particles, they are separated. Okay, now what type of ores we are using to separate using the magnetic separation method? So we have tin stone, that is SnO2. Okay, now this particular ore, it consists of impurities as oxides of iron. Okay, so we have Fe3O4. Now since this is magnetic, okay, so this impurity, it will be separated using magnetic technique, and we will be having tin stone as the crushed ore or the concentrated ore. Hope that is clear. Next is froth flotation process. Now here, what is the principle or what is the basic thing that we do follow here? It is preferential wettability of ore with pine oil and gangue particles, that is all the impurities, by water. Now what are we doing in this particular process? First of all, we are taking crushed ore, okay, in a large tank. Now this large tank, it consists of pine oil and water. Okay, now what are we doing over here? We are passing a current of compressed air. So compressed air is passed, okay, and this whole mass, it gets agitated, right? Now the ore that we are having, it is wetted by oil, okay, and it gets separated from the froth, separated from the impurities. Now how does it separate from impurities? It comes out as a form of froth. Okay, so in form of froth. So this froth comes up and it is collected. Okay, since the ore it is lighter, it will come up, it will get collected, and all the impurities, they will remain behind with water. Okay, so here what are we doing? I'll just tell you again. We are taking crushed ore, okay, and we are placing it in a large container which has fine oil and water. Now we are passing a jet of compressed air, okay, and this ore which we are having, it is wetted by oil and it comes up, so it separates itself from the impurities. Okay, it comes up in the form of froth, and we remove it, and all the impurities which are heavier, they get settled down. Okay, so basically we have zinc blende or galena which is separated using this method. Okay, and in the last method, which is leaching or chemical method, what happens over here? We are treating the ore with a suitable reagent. Now this reagent, it can be acid, base, or any other kind of reagent. Now what is the basic principle? Now the reagent, it is chosen in such a way that ore, it is soluble in the reagent and the impurities are insoluble. Okay, now what are we doing? We are removing the impurities by filtration technique, and then we have the ore. Okay, now we are using leaching method basically for the gold, aluminium, silver, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the 4 methods which we are following to have the concentrated ore in our hand. Okay, now next is conversion of the concentrated ore to its oxide. Okay, now what is happening? Alright, so I have some of the questions. Hi ma'am, when do we have our plus class for grade 10? Okay, so plus class, the courses have already been started, so let me tell you that. Okay, yeah, so see, it's Babo, right? So Babo, we are going to have the batch which is going to start from 7th of February 2022. Okay, now this is the batch course for grade 10. It is ESOL, which is all subject batch in English. Now here we are going to have the crash course, right? We are going to have a crash course which is going to be taken by Ayushi ma'am, Shikha ma'am, and me. Okay, so this is the plus course that we are going to start very soon, and right now we are starting, or we are doing metallurgy, and the topic is extraction of metals. Okay, so I hope things are very much clear to you. Now let's move on to our process of conversion of concentrated ore to its oxide. Correct? Alright. Now see, the concentrated ore that we have, we are now converting it into oxide. Now a question can pop up here, that why do we need to convert it into the oxide form? Why? Because oxides, they are much easier to reduce into metals. Now depending upon the nature of the ore that we have, we are having 2 types of methods. First is roasting and second is calcination. Now let's see about each process. First is roasting. Now what is roasting? It is the process of heating the concentrated ore to a high temperature. Okay, note a very important word over here, in presence of air. Okay, so roasting, it is done in presence of air. Okay, now what happens during roasting? First of all, moisture, it is removed. Okay, then all the organic matter, it is dissolved and it is removed. Organic matter, it is removed. Okay, Then what happens, all the impurities that we have, that is sulfur, phosphorus or arsenic, we are oxidizing them and removing as volatile impurities. Okay, then we have metal sulfides, they are oxidized to metal oxide. Okay, so these are the basic we can say things happening during roasting process. Now what is the calcination? So calcination, if we are having the ore which is carbonate or hydrated oxide. So we are using the calcination process. Now what are we doing? We are taking the ore and we are heating it in absence of air. So that is important. In roasting we had air, okay, sufficient supply of air. In calcination process we are going for absence of air. Now the temperature, it is high, okay, but it's insufficient to melt the ore. So it's not melting the ore, but the temperature is high enough. Okay, now what happens in calcination? The metal carbonate that we have, or metal hydroxide, metal carbonate we have taken, they decompose to give metal oxide. Okay, for example, I have taken zinc carbonate. Okay, it will decompose to give zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the basic process which is happening in the calcination process. Okay, now next is the reduction of metal oxides to metals. Okay, now after we, after the ore, it has undergone the roasting and calcination process, we are reducing it. So what is happening? Metal oxide, they are reduced by using reducing agents. Okay, now what are the reducing agents we can use? We can use over here carbon monoxide or hydrogen. Okay, now which type of reducing agent are we using? It primarily depends upon what is the position of that metal in the reactivity series. Okay, so let us see why or how does it work. Okay, now if I talk about the oxides of highly reactive metal, okay, let's first have the reactivity series so that it becomes easy to understand. Okay, so our reactivity series says potassium, sodium, and after that we have okay, so these are the reactive metals, and as we are moving down, the reactivity increases. Reactivity decreases. Okay, so if I talk about the metals which are lying very low in the reactivity series, for example, gold, silver, mercury, copper, so these are a bit less reactive. And if I go for sodium, potassium, calcium, they are very reactive. Okay, now let's see how do we obtain it. So if I go for the oxide of highly reactive metals, now what are the metals which are highly reactive? We can have potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium. So they are having they are stable, they are having greater affinity towards oxygen. Okay, so they cannot be reduced by using the common agents such as carbon monoxide or hydrogen. So these metals, they are obtained by electrolytic reduction. So what is the method that we are using here? We are using electrolytic reduction of fused metallic salts. That is, it can be halide or oxide. Okay, now for example, if I go for the sodium, okay, if I want to have sodium, what my electrolyte will be? It will be sodium chloride, right? So we are having fused NaCl. Now what are the reactions that happen in the electrolysis process? This NaCl, it dissociates itself into the positive and negative ions. Okay, and what is happening at cathode? Na, it gives out to form a sodium, and at anode what is happening? Okay, and here Cl plus Cl, it gives chlorine. Okay, so this is the electrolysis process that is happening. So the questions which can be asked from this topic is, select the elements which are reduced or which are formed by electrolytic reduction of fused metallic salts. So these are the highly reactive metals, okay, who cannot be reduced easily by reducing agents. So for potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, etc., we go for electrolytic reduction process. Okay, now next is the metal which are present in middle of activity series. Now what are the ones which are present in middle of activity series? We have zinc, iron, lead, copper, etc. Okay, so they are moderately active. They are not very reactive, and they are not like, they do not show any reaction. Okay, so they are present as sulfides or carbonates in the nature. And we saw for sulfide and carbonate we are using roasting and calcination process. Okay, so for sulfide ores we are using roasting. Okay, now for example, if I am having zinc sulfide, that is zinc blende. Okay, now what I do, roasting, it happens in excess of air, that is excess of oxygen. Okay, and it gets reduced, so we have temperature which is maintained high enough. So I am having zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide. And for carbonate ores we are taking calcination process. Okay, so we have zinc carbonate, which is also known as calamine. Okay, if I am heating it, now here there is absence of oxygen. The temperature is high, but it's not high enough to melt that particular ore. Okay, so I'm having zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, and these metal oxides, we are reducing it using suitable reagents. Okay, I hope things are very much clear. Now let's move on to the next process after this, that is the refining of that is low activity metals. Okay, so what are the metals which are very low active? So we are having mercury, we are having gold, we are having silver. So there are metals, sorry, just a minute. Okay, so then we are having the metals which are less active. Okay, so they do not show much reaction. Okay, so when we heat them we can get the metals. Okay, so that is very easy. Now we have cinnabar over here. Now what is cinnabar? It is HGS. Okay, mercury sulfide. Now what do we do? First of all, we heat it in the air, that is, so what do we get? We get mercury oxide. And when we heat it further, okay, so this mercury oxide, if we are heating, if we are keeping the temperature about 300 degrees Celsius, we get mercury plus oxygen. Okay, so this is how we can have the metals. Okay, so the metals which are very less reactive, we can just heat them and we can get the metal. Okay, now next process is refining of metal. So everything is done. Okay, now we need to separate separate the metal which we have taken, which we have extracted, from all of the impurities. Okay, from the last impurities. Okay, so what are impurities which can be present? It can be some other metals. Okay, it can be some unreduced oxides or sulfides. Okay, so these are the impurities which need to be removed in order to have the pure metal in our hand. Okay, now what method we are selecting for purification? So method of purification, again, it depends on two things. First is nature of metal and impurities, and next is purpose for metal use. Now there are two things. First is what is the nature of metal, what is the nature of impurities, and next is for what purpose are we going to use that particular metal. Okay, now these two things these two things actually are used to decide which process, and we are having three processes. First is distillation. Next we learned about liquation, and the third process was electro refining. Correct? So these are the three processes that we use. Now let's see about each of the process one by one. First is distillation. Now there are some metals which are volatile. For example, if I go for mercury, zinc. Okay, now these are volatile. Okay, volatile means they are having low boiling point. Okay, so what happens is they distill in pure form. Okay, and all the non-volatile impurities, they are left behind. Okay, next is liquation. So it is again related on low melting point. Okay, so we have the metals like lead, tin. They again have got low melting point. Okay, so we are taking a sloping earth, that is a sloping surface. Okay, Ankit Kumar says CH1 is done. Okay, what do we mean by CH1, Ankit? Can you please elaborate? Okay, so it is done on the sloping earth, that is a sloping kind of surface. Okay, and since they are having low melting point, what happens? They get molten or fused easily. Okay, and then this molten metal, it flows away. Okay, and we are collecting it. Okay, so I hope this process is very much clear to you. And now next is electro refining process. Okay, chapter 1, which chapter, Ankit? Like the session 1 of metallurgy, or which chapter you are talking about? Okay, now what are we using in electro refining? We are using first of all electrolytic cell. Okay, and it has got three components, which are electrolyte. Then we have two electrode, which is a cathode and anode. Okay, so let us see what are we doing over here. Now here we are taking the impure metal. Okay, and it is made anode. Periodic properties and variations. Yeah, so we already have one session Okay, so it is the standard book, Ankit, which is Selena for ICSE, right? Alright, so impure metal, it is made anode. Okay, we are taking the impure metal and it is made anode. Then we have pure metal. So we are taking a thin sheet of pure metal. So sheet of pure metal. We are making it cathode. Alright, then what is our electrolyte? It is the salt solution of the metal which we are refining, of the metal to be refined. Okay, so what happens over here? What is the reaction that happens at anode? We have metal minus n electrons, which gives Mn plus. And at cathode, what is happening? So here M is the metal. Now see, what happens is this pure metal that we have, it is depositing at cathode. Okay, and all the impurities, they are settling at anode and they form what is known as anode mud. Okay, so what are the metals that we are using to purify using this process? So we are having copper, we are having silver, we are having gold, we are having nickel, aluminium, zinc, etc., etc. So these are the metals which we are using. Okay, now I'll just show you a diagrammatic representation. So we will just be having just a minute. Okay, so what are we doing? We are first of all taking a container to have the salt solution. Okay, now we have taken two electrodes. One is anode, the other one is cathode. Now what is cathode? The pure metal, and anode, it is the impure metal. And here we have taken the salt solution of the metal. Okay, now we are just connecting it. Okay, so what is happening over here? This is the pure metal which deposits. Okay, and all the impurities, they settle down, which form what do we know as anode mud. Okay, so this is the basic representation of the electrolysis method. Hope things are clear to you. Now let's have a very important information, and then we'll be having a quick revision of all the things that we have learned today. So Unacademy subscription features. So why Unacademy? First of all, because Unacademy gives us some of the amazing features which we can use to enhance our performance in our studies. So first it is, you can learn from the comfort of your home. No need to go anywhere. Then you will be having unlimited access to all the courses. You will be taught by top educators of India at one platform, and we won't just be having the regular classes, but we also will be having a regular doubt clearing session and answer writing session. So these doubt clearing sessions, they are completely dedicated to all the doubts of the students. So you can ask your doubt, you can have a one-on-one discussion with your educators. Okay, and in the answer writing sessions, you will be told that how to write answers effectively for having a good impression. Next is exhaustive coverage of syllabus. So your syllabus will be covered properly, exhaustively, and you will be under the mentorship and guidance of your educators. After that, you will be receiving all the study material in the PDF format so that you can refer to it whenever you need it. We have practice tests, so we will be having a regular practice test to see how much you are able to understand, how much you are able to learn. Okay, After that, we are going to have live test series. So these tests are again very important to understand or to see how much we are able to grasp certain things. And you again will be having your batch courses. Okay. Then you will be getting your daily practice session, your weekly mock test, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series. Now, how to proceed for Unacademy Plus? First of all, you will be selecting a plan. Okay, you can choose a plan for 6 months, 12, 18, 24, 42, 48, whatever you want to go for. Okay, now with every increasing duration, students, your per month cost, it's reducing, right? You can see like 9 months per month is 1300, for 24 months it's 938, for 48 it's 750. So you can choose accordingly, and in the referral code you will be using my code, that is RITIKA CLIVE. So this is the code that you can use to get a 10% discount. Now, after that, a very important information, first of all, the batch classes. So as you know, your term 2 examinations are very soon going to start. So it's very important to take your preparations very seriously. And for that, Unacademy is back with the crash courses. Okay, so the crash course, which is ACERS all subject batch and having delivery in English, it's going to begin from 7th of February. Right now, here physics will be taken by Ayushi ma'am, biology will be taken by Shikha ma'am, and chemistry will be taken by me. Okay, if you subscribe for grade 10 students, there is an amazing thing that you're going to get. You are going to get the subscription of grade 11 and 12 absolutely free of cost. So again, once in a while opportunity, a very amazing one. Kindly go for it, kindly avail it, and also share this news with your friends so that maximum students can avail it. And now talking about Unacademy free special class and what's so special about it. So these classes, they are first of all absolutely free of cost, so anybody can watch it. Okay, here we are having live real-time interaction, so you can interact with your educators. We are having chat options, we are having emojis. Okay, then we are also having poll leaderboard. So what is poll leaderboard? You know, we are having polls. Okay, we are having options, and then you get the chance to select the correct answer. Okay, and also we are having leaderboards here, so you can see your positions, what is your position among all the students which are present in the class. Okay, all right, then you can ask your questions using the question tab. So you're having question tab, you can either type it or you can attach an image. Okay, and you can get your doubts cleared. Now talking about how to watch my special class. So first of all, you need to download the Unacademy Learner app. Okay, just install it. Sorry. Now click on get started and enter your mobile number. Now you will be asked for an OTP, and just then create your account by entering your full name, your email ID, your state, etc., etc. And then you will be selecting your goal. So in your case, the goal is class 6th to 12th. Select that and select your class, that is CBSE, ICSE, and then your grade. Then you will be selecting the language that you want to learn in, that is Hindi or English or English, that is both. Okay, select that. And now students, in the description of this video there is a special class link. If you click on that link, there will be a pop-up as notify me. Click on notify me and you will be notified 10 minutes before the class is going to begin. And here you can use my code to enter the special class for free of course, and my code is RITIKACLIVE. So this is my code which you can enter to unlock the special class for free of cost. Okay, so I hope things are very much clear, and now let's have a quick revision of all the things that we have learned today. So let's go back, and here we are. So metals, they are found in with combined form and free form. Okay, what are minerals? These are the naturally occurring compounds which are mixed with impurities which are known as gangue. Ores are those minerals from which we can extract the metals at low cost and low labor. Now, Metallurgy, it is the branch which deals with extraction of metals, okay, and to have them in their pure form. Now there are various processes which are involved in extraction. Okay, so when we have ore, it first goes for crushing and grinding, then it goes for concentration, then after that it goes for roasting, calcination, after that it goes for reduction, refining, and then we have pure metal in our hand. Now crushing is making the fine powder out of the ore. Okay, it is done in big jaw crushers. In this process it is known as pulverization. After that, the dressing or concentration of ore, in which all the impurities or gangue particles, they are removed, okay, and the ore, it is known as concentrated ore. So there are certain processes which are used for that. First is gravity separation or levitation technique, in which we take a sloping earth, okay, it is with a groove, so that ore particles, they settle down and all the impurities, they are removed by a jet of water. Next is magnetic separation. So we take crushed ore in a conveyor belt, okay, and here the impurities which are magnetic, they get attracted to the magnetic wheel, okay, which is present in the conveyor belt, and they are separated. After that we have froth flotation. So it is dependent, or it is basically based on the principle of wettability of ore with pine oil and gangue particles by water. So we are taking crushed ore, okay, and we are having a container which contains pine oil and water. Then compressed air is passed, and ore, it is wetted by oil, it comes up and it gets separated. After that we have chemical method or leaching. So we are taking a suitable reagent such that ore, it is soluble in that but impurities are not, and we remove the impurities by filtration technique. Then we convert the ore which is concentrated into its oxide. So we are using two methods for that. First is roasting, other is calcination. So roasting, it is when we heat the ore to a very high temperature in presence of air, but in calcination we heat it in absence of air. Okay, now for roasting we are using sulfide ores, and calcination, it is generally for carbonate or hydrated oxide ores. Next is reduction of metal oxide to metals. So they are reduced by certain reducing agents, okay, and there are certain processes. For example, if I talk about the reactive metals, okay, for that reduction process does not work. Reducing agent, they do not work. So we need to go for electrolytic reduction of fused metallic salts. Okay. Next, the metals which are present in middle of activity series, they undergo roasting or calcination. Okay, depending on if they are sulfide ore or carbonate ore. Then the metals which are very less reactive, we just heat them and we can get the metals. Next is refining. So all the impurities which can include some other metals, some unreduced oxide, sulfide, etc. Okay, so they are removed in the refining process. Okay, now what method we are using, it depends on two things. First is nature of metal and impurities, and next is the purpose for which we are going to use that metal. Now there are three processes: distillation, liquefaction, and electro refining process. Now what happens? Distillation, what happens, in which we are taking volatile substances such as mercury, zinc. They are volatile, they are having low boiling point, so they come up, they distill in the pure form. Liquefaction, low melting point, it is based on this technique. So lead and tin, they have low melting point, so they just get flow away, okay, because they become melted, they melt very easily. Okay, and at the last we have electro refining. So we are taking electrolytic cell which has got three parts: electrolyte, cathode, and anode. Okay, now impure metal, it is taken at anode. We are taking a sheet of pure metal at cathode, and electrolyte, it is the salt solution of the metal which we are refining. Okay, so pure metal, it is collected at cathode. Impurities, they settle down at anode, forming anode mud. I hope things are very much clear. If there is anything you haven't understood, please let me know. Okay, we will be discussing that also. And please download the Unacademy Learner app. You can get it on Google Play Store or App Store, and you can use all these features for free by using my code, that is RITIKACLIVE. So students, I hope you might have understood everything. Now there's a request to please join special classes on the Unacademy app, and also try to join the plus courses, because students, these are very important. And right now, since it's high time, okay, your examinations are very soon going to start, so we are going to have very special sessions like crash courses, or test series, or answer writing sessions. So therefore it becomes very important for you to join the sessions and take your preparations to next level. So that was all for today. We will be meeting in our next class and I will be bringing with me another amazing session. So till then, keep studying, keep learning. Take care. Bye-bye.